I actually believe that can happen, so we'll leave it at that. I experience weird things where I live now, and it's like, that is whack. But anyway, back to the gang stalking, which could include invisible killings off of people, which could include, you know, people falling into the pandemic and looking like they tested positive on a rapid test when really it was an opportunity for the evil beings in the sky to potentially take a life. And they could do it in such a way where they can, you know, maybe symptoms can be induced or imposed. It's a whole thing. I experienced shortness of breath in 2018. I was in a very weird experience since 2011, and it's a whole thing. And shortness of breath became the #1 symptom for coronavirus. So we'll leave it at that because I have no idea where it came from. This is long before any coronavirus showed up on this, screen. So anyway, I'm just saying. But the gang stalking here would be people filed out, giving you like evil eye, or who could resemble anyone that the public might question, naturally, I guess, in regards to like the mysterious passing of someone on the young side, when it doesn't make sense that they would pass away. So, what's going on today? Oh, New York bound. Okay. So, this is, it's not Megabus any longer. Does Megabus still work? Is it? Oh, Peter Pan is up here. So, I call it the Hogwarts, because it's not really a bus station. It's just sort of, they pick you up on the sidewalk. I guess they did that around back, but anyway, point being, if anything major happens, and in my case, if I pay attention to it, I can walk out here and there will be 50 million references to whatever is going on. So right now we have lookalikes who are, say, African American of the husband of Michaela Raines, looking as if they're going to toss me over the bridge. And that's gang stalking. And, we have a husband who poured out his heart, crying his eyes out, bawling, clearly in extreme pain. And, people will take everything to the hilt. So I don't know what to believe about anything. I know I've been in situations also where it's like, I felt like the invisible realm could make you look like you're smirking or have like a Cheshire cat grin behind, when really you want to talk about something serious. It's the old idea of laughing at a funeral, or say you are talking about something very serious, maybe about domestic violence or even rape or anything like that. And all of a sudden, and you want to be believed because this is really heinous and bad, and all of a sudden there's a magic entity in the air that can lighten the mood a little too much to discredit you. That can actually happen. I've been angered because it's like, I'm talking about something serious and I feel like something's coming on and trying to make light of what I'm trying to talk about through my face. You can actually feel it. And that is disturbing, that can happen. And then you have 50 million people who analyze every emotion, every word, every expression on people's faces. And apparently it's never happened to them yet. Because I've examined things and wondered in past years, like, that's weird. They don't come across that sincere or credible. But lo and behold, someone out there wanted me to see that just try to talk about how serious and bad your case is. And and see what happens. And sure enough, I've had moments where it's like, you know, I sat down with coffee once with a woman who I met through a special volunteer group, and women should be very supportive, especially when you're talking about certain violence against women per se. And it's almost like in her presence, her last name is Murphy, but in her presence, somehow I felt like this discrediting or minimizing of what I wanted to talk about occurred, and I felt like my face looked different than, say, a sincere person. That bothered me so much because it put into question our entire justice system and who's believed, who isn't. We have juries of people who have no clue that this can happen. And how many people have gained at the, you know, have gained by this, you know, happening? Well, we didn't believe witness number 5. She came across as, you know, or we didn't believe say it's actually the defendant. Someone's trying to save his or her life because they wound up on the stand. They wound up, you know, charged with something through circumstantial evidence, say. And they're trying to show, like, I swear to God, I swear to God, I swear to God. And for some reason, a weird smirk comes off their face. And people think they're, like, average, regular people, and I realize this is normal, would assume that, guilty of sin, guilty of sin. Unless it happens to you, and you're like, I can't believe that. I cannot believe someone in the Matrix out there in the sky wants to minimize what happened to me so that I don't come across as urgently as need be. I would say there's a dark matrix. I would say it's male, just because ladies, unless you have a lot of money, you really don't have that much power. Men still run the universe. They are intimidating, and they will always be that way. Hi. There was one there. And this is how bad they can get in terms of devil's advocate or advocate in general. They can switch it. Like, well, somebody could have put that intimidating face on that guy who walked by trying to stare you down. What if it's the same thing in reverse of what you're just talking about? So how do you know who's bad and who isn't? The downside is it gets into church world too much. And in church world, or philosophies, in a lot of worlds where the court system isn't, you know, cherished. I don't love the court system because I just see a lot of pain all over the place. But the problem is there needs to be corrections in terms of people who are actually, like, bad, who actually have evil intentions. If they could just stop it and be corrected. I don't know how that works. People have different philosophies of what's going on Earth. They live their life by their ideologies, their belief systems. Some people see family lineages and they need to conquer other families. I never thought this way. I come from a family that was of modest means, trying to survive. I didn't look at it in terms of, oh, we have to conquer the Italians because we're Irish, or vice versa. It could get into racial